Timeout.
Looks like she's in pain after that pass. She had been dealing most recently with a groin injury.
In a shocking moment of pure frustration, Caitlin Clark slammed her head against the basket stanchion before collapsing onto the bench in tears. This wasn't just the pain of an injury, this was the boiling point of a season-long vendetta, where opponents have been given a green light to target the WNBA's biggest star with dangerous, unchecked physicality. The referees looked the other way all night, but what her coach Stephanie White revealed in the post-game press conference was a damning confession that exposed the entire league and confirmed every fan's worst fear.
No update. Just felt a little something in her groin, so we'll get it evaluated and see what happens from there.
Yeah, just kind of to follow up on that. Looked like she was kind of grabbing at her right groin area. Is that the concern?
Yeah. If that's the one she was grabbing at, I don't know which one it was, but yeah, I mean, that's it.
Right here, she explodes, makes the backdoor pass, and immediately grabs the inside of that right leg. Yeah,
The energy inside TD Garden was nothing short of electric, but all of it was for the visiting team. It sounded less like a Connecticut Sun home game and more like Indianapolis had staged a full-scale invasion of Boston. "Let's go Fever" chants echoed relentlessly through the historic arena, as the Fever systematically dismantled the Sun with a dominant 85-77 victory. Kelsey Mitchell was on fire, dropping 20 points, while Natasha Howard secured a monster double-double. It was a statement win that improved their record to 12-10 and solidified their position in the playoff race. Everything was perfect, until it wasn't.
She walks down to the end of the court. You can tell that she's in pain. You can tell that there's something wrong. She goes to the what's it called, like stanchion or whatever, the thing that holds up the basketball hoop on the other end. She hits her head on it. She is fighting back tears and she walks straight over to the bench. Now, when she goes over to the bench, she starts crying. And I've honestly never seen Caitlin Clark cry on the court except when she lost the national championship game. She keeps it together no matter what is happening. But you could just tell that something happened on that play. And it was either the pain of it, it was either like, here we go again, it was frustration.
In the final minute of the game, Clark made an explosive backdoor pass, a routine play she's executed thousands of times. But this time was different. As she planted her foot, she immediately recoiled, her hand instinctively grabbing the inside of her right leg. The collective joy of victory evaporated from the arena, replaced by a cold, dreadful silence. The look on her face said it all. This was real, searing pain, and she knew exactly what it meant. Seeing her break down was a shock to everyone. Clark is known for her stoic composure. The only other time fans had seen her openly weep on the court was after the heartbreak of losing a national championship. This uncharacteristic display of emotion revealed just how severe and how terrifying this moment was for her. But this wasn't a random twist of fate. This moment was months in the making.
We probably won't get many details about the injury, but it was honestly just so heartbreaking to see because in that moment, she just looked so defeated. And Caitlin Clark is somebody, she hides it really well, and I don't know if hiding it or she handles it is probably the right thing to say. She handles the pressure. She handles all of the media spotlight, the attention, the expectations of how she performs on the court, the expectations of the ratings for her games. She handles all of that so well, and this season has just been so tough for her when it comes to injuries.
This injury was so frightening because it was the same groin issue that had haunted her before. Clark had already been forced to miss 5 games earlier in the season with a left groin injury. Now her right groin was flaring up, a classic and dangerous sign of the body overcompensating for a previous weakness. This pattern often leads to chronic career-altering problems. This wasn't just a physical setback, it was the direct, predictable result of a season-long vendetta that began against this very same team. To truly understand how we got here, we have to rewind the clock to June 17th, the day the Connecticut Sun made it personal. That game marked a dark turning point where the unwritten rules of professional basketball were shattered and opponents were shown just how far they could push the league's biggest star.
Third quarter we go. They're trailing by 10. Keep an eye on her and JC Sheldon. Clark trying to back her down.
Clark is okay.
Sheldon, that was Clark hitting her in the face. Clark is upset about that. Then everybody's upset about that. Marina Mabry comes in. She decks Clark, tempers flaring on both sides.
JC Sheldon and Marina Mabrey crossed every line that day with an eye poke and body check that shocked the basketball world.
In that June matchup, the physicality crossed a line from aggressive to undeniably dirty. JC Sheldon and Marina Mabrey unleashed a series of plays that shocked the basketball world. Sheldon, in a moment of what appeared to be unbridled aggression, drove her finger directly into Clark's eye. It was deliberate, dangerous, and had absolutely no place in the game of basketball. Moments later, Marina Mabrey followed up with a hard, blindsided body check that sent Clark stumbling backward, a move that looked more like something from an ice hockey rink. These weren't legitimate basketball plays, they were targeted attacks, a clear and ugly message being sent to the rookie sensation. And what was the league's response? A pathetic slap on the wrist. The weak disciplinary actions sent a chilling message to every other team in the WNBA. Targeting Caitlin Clark was not only acceptable, it was practically encouraged.
And then Mabrey came in with a bump.
And Mabrey's day is almost assuredly going to be done. Thought both teams.
Sophie commits a hard foul on JC Sheldon. Again, as JC Sheldon is going up for a layup, Sophie bear hugs her and takes her to the ground. What I will say is Sophie did not grab her and throw her to the ground. She didn't body slam her. She didn't do anything, in my personal opinion. Maybe I'm biased here, but I'm going to give you guys my straight up honest opinion on this. She bear hugged her, took her to the ground. Yes, it was intentional. It was absolutely intentional.
That bitter history hung heavy in the air as the two teams faced off again in Boston. This wasn't just another game on the schedule. This was Payback. You could feel the simmering tension from the opening tip-off. Every screen was set with more force. Every defensive possession was more physical, and every stare down between plays lasted just a little longer. Clark herself played with a ferocious edge, attacking the basket with a relentless drive and zipping passes with a personal fire we hadn't seen before. She wasn't just playing to win, she was playing to dominate.
And Sheldon is going to keep the pressure on Clark. You see Tina Charles with the responsibility of guarding Aaliyah Boston. High hedge on the ball screen on Clark.
Inside perfectly.
One thing you know about Tina Charles, she has every shot in her arsenal.
Now Sheldon, the height disadvantage against Howard.
Yeah, good recognition.
There's also something where she's never battled injuries in college. She's always been something who has been a very healthy player. And this year it has been quad injury and then another quad injury and then a groin injury and now what seems to be another groin injury. Now, again, you guys, this is all from what we're seeing. We're just putting two and two together. Nothing has been confirmed, but it seems like she did re-injure her leg on that play.
Her teammates clearly had her back. Sophie Cunningham, who had fearlessly confronted both Sheldon and Mabrey for their dirty plays in the previous game, became the team's enforcer. Her presence made it clear that the Fever would not be intimidated or pushed around. She showed the world that if you came for their star, you came for all of them. The Fever were delivering their payback the right way, on the scoreboard, dominating the game from start to finish. Clark was leading the charge, seemingly unstoppable. But while the players were settling their scores on the court, the referees were about to make the situation infinitely worse.
There are multiple moments in this game that were so egregiously called, or there was no calls by the referees, and it's getting out of control at this point. And even Caitlin Clark's brother tweeted, "This one is on the refereeing." Like, there are people in Caitlin Clark's family who are starting to call out the referees because of how bad they have been.
Just as the game was reaching its climax, the officiating descended into absolute chaos. The referees didn't just miss a few calls, they completely lost control of the game, turning a competitive high-stakes matchup into a frustrating farce. Their shocking incompetence became the main events, completely overshadowing the Fever's incredible victory.
I'm not a good lip reader. I'm trying.
I got it. And that was Breon January, who is played 9 years in Indiana and now on the staff. And that's a live shot now of Caitlin Clark. He's still upset and wants an explanation from Michael Price.
And maybe at the timing of when that challenge happens.
The most egregious example came when Fever center Aaliyah Boston was battling in the post with the veteran Tina Charles. Charles straight up slapped Boston across the face. It was a clear and obvious flagrant foul to everyone watching, yet the referees ridiculously called it a common foul. A decision so baffling it drew audible gasps from the commentators and fans alike. Minutes later, Sophie Cunningham was driving up the court when she was leveled by a brutal elbow to her neck and head area. She crumpled to the floor, but no foul was called. In fact, she later revealed on social media what the officials told her, tweeting, "They said I flopped, LOL." The disbelief and frustration on the faces of the Fever players was palpable. They were being physically hammered, and the very people meant to protect them were doing nothing or worse, mocking their appeals. This wasn't just a single bad night of officiating. It was the continuation of a disturbing pattern that has followed Caitlin Clark all season long.
And this was probably the worst one of them all. This is Aaliyah Boston and Tina Charles, and they are battling in the post. And then you can see Tina Charles just kind of swims around and then throws Aaliyah Boston to the ground, like punches down on her. And she's on the ground, and that was not called a flagrant one. That was called literally a common foul, you guys. Hands up at this point. Like, I don't even know what the players can do because the players aren't being protected.
The undeniable truth is that Caitlin Clark is being refereed by a different, harsher set of rules than any other star in the WNBA. While other marquee players are rightfully protected, Clark is consistently subjected to a level of physicality that would have whistles blowing and fines flying if it happened to anyone else. The pattern has become so blatant that broadcast commentators have started showing compilations of uncalled fouls against her during live games.
I want to show you another play with Sophie Cunningham. So this one, she actually quote tweeted herself. As you can see, she's running up and then Hartley kind of elbows her in the neck and Sophie falls to the ground. Now she reposted this and she said, "They said I flopped, LOL." So I guess the referees told her that she flopped on that play, or the players, who knows. Somebody told her that she flopped on that play.
Questioning why the league is allowing it to happen. The frustration has boiled over, reaching even her closest family. Her brother Colin couldn't stay silent any longer and took to social media after the injury, tweeting, "Make no mistake, this is on the refereeing." Even Clark herself finally reached her breaking point. During the third quarter, cameras caught her in a heated, extended argument with referee Mike Price, her face a mask of pure exasperation after months of being targeted with no protection. Her animated words and gestures showed the pent-up anger finally boiling over. She was no longer just a rookie, she was a superstar, demanding to know why she wasn't being given the same respect as her peers. But the most explosive truth was about to be revealed, not by a player, not by a fan, but by the one person who sees it all from the inside.
There's been so many things, so many players calling out the referees, so many players calling out the physicality, so many players getting injured this season, from superstars to players on the bench, from season-ending injuries to rib injuries to concussions. There have been just so many things, and it doesn't get better. It doesn't get better. This is a nationally televised game on ESPN. And it just doesn't get better.
In the post-game press conference, Coach Steffi White walked to the podium looking like she was ready for war. The quiet frustration that had been simmering all season long was about to erupt into a full-blown inferno. When a reporter asked her to describe the physical battle that Clark endures, White's response was a bombshell.
What is your description of kind of the physical battle that Caitlin particularly faces, maybe within tonight's game or just in general as you've gotten used to coaching her, just what you see she's enduring physically?
Are you trying to get me fined again?
Are you trying to get me fined again? She shot back, a loaded question that immediately revealed a history of conflict with the league over this very issue. Then she delivered the line that confirmed every single fan's suspicion. "There's a level of physicality that they're able to play with against her," she began, pausing for effect. "I knew it as an opponent and I see it as her coach." Coming from someone who had coached against Clark just a season prior, this was a damning confession.
Her face showed the frustration that had been building all season long. When reporters asked about Clark's injury, White's response was brief but loaded with meaning. She said, "No update. Just felt a little something in her groin."
I don't know. What do we do? Do you guys have any suggestions on what can actually be done? The coaches get technicals for it. The coaches get fined when they call them out to the media. Like, this is a top-down issue. This is a commissioner's issue. And now you have a tweet that goes out from Caitlin Clark's brother that says, "Make no mistake, this is on the reffing." And this is right after she seemingly got injured again. She was getting hacked, she was getting hand checked, all of the things that we have gone over so many times, like the things that continue to happen. I just, at this point, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say about it.
She was admitting that opposing teams had a specific, more aggressive game plan just for Clark, and now as her coach, she was witnessing the league's refusal to address it. Her next words were even more telling. With a tone of complete resignation, she added, "I'm not exactly sure why, but it is what it is."
I mean, there's a level of physicality that they're able to play with against her. You know, I knew it as an opponent, and I see it as her coach. And you know, I'm not exactly sure why, but it just is what it is. And we've got to help her learn to adjust and use it against them in certain ways. You know, we've got to find some ways to make it a little bit easier for her. But the level of physicality overall in our league has been at a different level than it's been for a long time.
That single phrase revealed the utter helplessness of the situation. Even a veteran head coach couldn't understand why the league was allowing its brightest star to be targeted with such impunity.
It messes up with even the entertainment value of the game. Yes, the Fever won this game. Was that a fun basketball game to watch? No. And it sucks when you see your star player who's heading into All-Star in just a few days, which, by the way, just today, it was announced that Caitlin Clark would be a part of the three-point shootout. She'd be doing her first WNBA three-point shootout at home in Indiana on her home court. Who knows when All-Star's coming back to Indiana? And she might not be able to do that now because she got injured again in this game. Now,
White then dropped one more bomb, noting that the physicality across the entire league has been at a different level than it's been for a long time. This wasn't just about Caitlin Clark anymore, it was a systemic problem. The WNBA was getting rougher and the league was letting it happen with its star players paying the ultimate price with their health.